When did a child reveal something horrifying? My 4-year-old daughter Emma always told me she loved daycare. She was always full of stories about things that happened that day. Some, like telling me they rode elephants after nap time, I'd learned not to take seriously. One day when I picked, she seemed quieter than usual, so I asked her about her day during the drive home. She told me the usual stuff about snack time and one girl stealing another one's toys, and then casually said, "And then Miss Kelly made us sit on our hands until we were quiet even though my nose was bleeding." She changed the subject immediately after, started talking about a leaf she saw on the playground, but I was frozen, because I started thinking about little things I'd overlooked. The dark circles under Emma's eyes, the way she flinched sometimes when I touched her arm, a few bruises on her legs I'd seen at bath time and never been able to explain. I told myself that I was imagining things because good daycares are hard to find and Emma usually seemed happy. But this latest story didn't sound like something she'd made up, and it didn't sound like anything that was okay. That night, I came up with a plan to find out for myself. After I dropped Emma off at daycare the next day, I didn't leave. I sneaked around to the side of the buildings and hid by a window, close enough to hear what was going on, but not for them to see me. I felt like some cross between a spy, a stalker, and a complete idiot. But what I heard made me know I'd done the right thing. I stayed there for an hour and heard Miss Kelly barking orders, snapping at kids for making noise, and yelling at a toddler who had scraped her knee, telling her big girls don't cry over stupid things like that. I walked into the office and pulled Emma out for the day, making some excuse about a doctor's appointment I forgot. Then I kept her home for a few days, telling the daycare she had a fever after getting a flu shot, while I started digging. I called licensing agencies and quietly collected statements from staff willing to talk, some anonymously, who confirmed widespread neglect and abuse. I even snuck into the daycare parking lot at night, which once again made me feel like a very weird super spy, and installed a nanny cam in the playground. That captured staff yelling and forcing kids into corners, scenes no parent should ever see. The more I uncovered, the angrier I became, but I kept my cool to build a case solid enough to protect not just my daughter, but every child there. I reported everything to the state's Child Protective Services and the police, and soon, investigators arrived with cameras and notebooks, interviewing staff, kids, and parents, turning the once happy-looking daycare into a crime scene. The media caught wind of the story after I spoke anonymously to a local reporter, and the town was stunned. What was supposed to be a safe place for kids had been a prison of fear for so many little ones. The daycare was shut down, the owner and several employees were charged with child neglect and abuse, and Emma and the other kids were placed in new, caring environments. The trial was grueling, with tearful testimonies from children and parents, but justice was served when the court sentenced the guilty to prison and imposed strict new regulations on all daycares in the state to prevent anything like this from happening again. For me, the victory was bittersweet, because the scars on Emma's spirit wouldn't disappear overnight, but watching her smile again weeks later, finally free from fear, made every sleepless night and stressful fight worth it. And this experience taught me that sometimes hiding in the bushes like a creepy weirdo is worth it if it's what you have to do to protect your kid.